For rescue parrots like Paco, beak work never ends. Some parrots may never need their beak trimmed in their lifetime, but for various reasons, others do. When Paco first got here, his beak was in a very bad state, but with lifestyle changes, diet corrections, life-saving medications, and regular maintenance, his beak has made a lot of improvements. However, it's just the nature of this beast that I'm going to always have to give him beak trims. But luckily for Paco, he landed with a professional beak trimmer. And I have to say that over time, he's become a professional beak trim receiver. Parrots' beaks are just made out of keratin, which is the same material as our fingernails, toenails, and hair. So while there are important blood vessels and nerves inside of the beak, the part that I'm trimming and sanding away is the same as the tips of your fingernails. It's just inert extra material. I use a fine ceramic bit on a rotary sander with an adjustable speed. This way I can take off a little bit of keratin at a time in just the right shape that I want. This process is dusty, but the dust is relatively heavy and doesn't really blow around too much. While I'm sanding, I try to stay aware of the direction of rotation so I know where the dust is going to fall. Normally, I don't do a lot of sanding on the outside of the beak. This tends to be the area where the keratin is at its thinnest, so if you take off too much, you could expose some of the sensitive material underneath. However, in Paco's case, his keratin is extremely thick, so thinning down this extra area is giving him a better beak shape overall, and with time that should improve. Now that I've started working on the opposite side of Paco's face, I'm using a paper towel to help block a little bit more of the dust. I normally don't need to do this, but Paco has a lot more keratin to get rid of, so he has a tendency to accumulate a lot more dust particles. And with the sander's rotation, these would be blowing back into his face. Some people use a fan to blow the dust away, but I like to keep it out of the air, so this solution works pretty well. Now that I've collected it, I can just pick this dust up and dispose of it. Paco's lower beak needs a lot of work. When the lower beak experiences a lot of extra overgrowth like this, it starts to push the upper beak outwards. A normal parrot's beak that's getting enough use and is being challenged by a variety of tough materials should be wearing down with regular use. But when they aren't, they need intervention. Next, it's time for the coconut oil massage. This step is just a little bit extra. Just like with soft tissue massage, a beak massage can help promote healthy blood flow. The process also seems to be very calming for a lot of birds. And with mine, I've noticed a huge improvement in their beak and the skin around their beak's health. Since the beak grows outward from the face, it's important to keep this skin supple and healthy. When Paco first got here, this area was very dry and flaky. And this skin, especially on the underside of his beak, was very loose and lax. Not anymore. Paco's journey was an uphill battle at times, but his strength and determination made it possible.